What's up, folks? My name is Helmsy. Today what we're going to talk about is how insane Assassination's burst can be. Possibly, theoretically, over 2 million damage in about 20 seconds. Actually, less than that. You're looking at about 2.4 million damage in, like 15 seconds. So, let's hop into it. Alright, guys. So, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to explain everything first. And then we're going to get into it. Now here is, I'm gonna tell you exactly how I got the number 2.4 million, and I do want to stress that it is a theoretical number. I have not taken armor classes into consideration. I have not taken plenty of things into consideration, but here is what I get. I believe that you guys will agree with me, at least for the most part. So here we go. First thing is first, you have to go ahead and count for Rupture. Now, Rupture is dealing about 360,000 damage. 360, and then if you look over here, Rupture has a chance to infect your target, increasing the damage dealt by Rupture by 100% for 10 seconds. And you can actually squeeze Rupture, being a 24-second dot, down into about 12 seconds. So you are going to lose just a little bit of damage. So it's not going to be 720,000 damage. It's going to be something more like 690,000 damage, or something along those lines. It won't be exactly 720, but this whole entire burst mechanic here is made possible by this one ability right here called exsanguinate. I don't fucking know how to say it. It's exsanguinate. Sure, why not? It's that ability. The blood orb ability. Maybe we'll just call it that because I can't fucking pronounce this thing to save my life. Anyway, it's all because of that. So what you want to do is you want to build entirely around bleeds, because bleeds can't be cleansed off, whereas poison can be cleansed off. It's going to be a perfect storm burst. Now, you can't still get off a massive amount of damage. Otherwise, if somebody comes out, you open up on somebody and you start dealing damage, they trinket it, they turn around, they go on you. You might have to sacrifice a global cooldown to use your evasion or something like that, but you can still get off a ton of damage. So like I said, that's your biggest one. The next one, of course, is going to be, and I'm only going to go over your elite talents, so these three, right there, right there, right there, and I actually will go over that one, but that's because it's an ability. I'm not going to consider any of these because I haven't considered their armor class, so I feel like maybe this will kind of balance it out. I don't know. Anyway, Venom has a chance to smash a vial of poison at the target's location, creating a pool of acidic death that deals 158,000 nature damage over 6 seconds to all enemies within. So pretty much what you're looking at here is you want to get off the most amount of damage possible in the shortest amount of time. And I mean, we're not going to consider things like that, which increases deadly poison and wound poison by 15% whenever it's at 3 of 3. Things like that, which increases the damage of Rupture by 9% whenever it's at 3 of 3. Or this one that says finishing moves increase poison damage you deal to the target by 10%, 1 of 1, for 5 seconds. Or this one saying increased the critical strike chance of Rupture by 9% when it's at 3 of 3. We are focusing on those because I feel like armor class comes into play, and it might, my numbers might be a little bit off here, but I am trying to show you guys that this damage is insane. Here we have declaring your vendetta unleashes a barrage of poison daggers at the target for 306,000 damage over 20 seconds. This is the reason why I said that it does 2.6 million damage in 20 seconds, but it'll do 2.4 million damage in 12 seconds. It's because of this dot right here, which if you factor out, it doesn't matter as much, but if you keep it in there, I mean, the number looks more impressive, so why not? The next thing to look at is going to be your talents. The reason you don't want to do Master Poisoner is because this is a bleed build burst. It's built with bleeds in mind so that you can burst a lot easier. Bleeds can't be cleansed, nothing like that. So you have Hemorrhage, which I'm not going to read the damage part, but it increases bleed damage from your abilities on the target by 25% for 20 seconds. Therefore, you want to make sure that this bad boy is up at all times. So the reason that I like to use Subterfuge is because of, not so much because of it's 3 seconds after stealth, you're able to use stealth abilities, but because Garrote also deals 100% increased damage and has no cooldown when used from stealth after that 3 second stealth breaks. This is a big deal because Garrote now deals 177,000 damage, which is a pretty decent bleed. Now next, you pretty much have to go Vigor, mainly because, I mean, you're an energy-hungry class. I mean, all mage specs are, but you're an energy-hungry spec, and this helps a lot. Now, Elusiveness is something that I prefer a lot more than anything else in this tier. I feel like this kind of takes away from my my damage, and again, this is burst-focused 100%. Now, Elusiveness does, of course, take 20 energy, I believe, right, Faint? 20 energy to do, but that's not terrible. Next, I do Internal Bleeds. For obvious reasons, it's just a bleed, and I feel like it's better than the other two. Now, this is the staple. This is what you have to have if you want to have any success with this, and that is the blood orb thing that I can't ever pronounce. Exsanguinate. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Anyway, this one is huge because you twist your blades in the target's wounds, causing your bleed effects on them to bleed out 100% faster. This is psychotic. With all of that said, and then we take Mark for Death, which I don't have to explain, that one is just Marked for Death. But I do want to emphasize this right here. 100% faster means that it's going to deal a ton of damage in half the time, essentially. Obviously, I mean, you guys probably know this already, but you have to take a look over here at this bad boy. Say that this procs, say that your weapon procs, and this does about 720,000 damage. Instead of it doing that over 24 seconds, it's going to do that over 12 seconds. I mean, that's over half my current health, which is insane. Next, we have a look here at Garrote. So this one is over 18 seconds, and with it being over 18 seconds, that means it's going to do 177,000 damage in just 9 seconds, which again is insane. Beyond that, I would like to point out your poison. Now, this is just a poison. This is not a bleed, meaning that it will not get reduced by half whenever you use your blood orb thing, your exsanguinate. It will not do that. It will, however, only take 12 seconds, which is fine because that is the same amount of time that your rupture will take, and it's going to deal about 45,000 damage. It does go up to about 55,000 in actual PvP, for me anyway, but I also have low gear. Next, you're looking at your Kingsbane ability. This one is a massive one, and I will actually tell you how to do this whole burst, and I will show you this burst here in just a second, so don't just think that I'm telling you how to do it and I expect you to go out and do it by yourself. But Kingsbane, you inject your target with poison, dealing about 78,000 nature damage immediately, and an additional 100k nature damage over 14 seconds. Again, this is a bleed. No, sorry, this is a poison, not a bleed, therefore it will not be reduced. However, I would like to go ahead and point something out really quick. We have put all of this, I've explained all of these abilities and everything so far, but I haven't explained a few things. Now, Kingsbane will increase your damage caused by the Kingslayers. It says each time you apply lethal poison to a target affected by Kingsbane, Kingsbane's damage increased by 15%, which is a nice little buff. It doesn't matter as much as the next two I'm about to mention, but your Vendetta, which increases all damage to the target by 30% for 20 seconds, is absolutely massive. So this is all damage, not just your bleeds, not just your poisons, not just your normal hits. This is all damage for that 20-second period. So you can essentially add 30% to every single one of these abilities that we've covered, because that's how much it's going to be. Now, with Hemorrhage, like we covered before, your bleed damage from the abilities are increased by 25% for 20 seconds. You want to make sure that you keep Hemorrhage up at all times. That should go without saying. So you can effectively add 20% to every single bleed that you have so far on this target. Whenever I did the math, I did not add in any of these talents right here, even though a lot of them are going to be a big deal. I did not add any honor talents in here to get my number like that. That's a good one for example. I didn't add any of these talents at all. All I did was the abilities and those three elite abilities. So you may be wondering, I'm sure you are wondering, what's the rotation to get this insane burst, this just crazy amount of burst off? And I'm going to go ahead and show you. So what are our priorities? What do we want to, what comes before everything else? So we want to get into position to be able to use Vendetta. We want to get in position to be able to use Kingsbane, and we want to get in position to both control as well as garrote our target. Then we need to get up the rest of our bleeds, make sure that hemorrhage is up, and then exsanguinate or blood orb, whatever you want to call it. So what I suggest doing, so start off with Vendetta right before you open. You don't want to waste any of your Vendetta because it is 20 seconds of 30% vulnerability on a 2-minute cooldown, so do not waste it. But you're going to Vendetta immediately into, depending on the target, I prefer doing garrote into Cheap Shot because it gives you just a fraction of more time, half a second I believe, for your CC here. If you open with this instead of this, you can do it either way, whichever one makes you more comfortable. You can open with Cheap Shot into garrote, or you can open with garrote into Cheap Shot. What I suggest is garrote into Cheap Shot because I think that it works the absolute best. After your Cheap Shot, you're going to want to go ahead and use Kingsbane. The reason why is because you want to get that poison damage out there immediately. Also, as soon as that Kingsbane poison is up, each time you apply a lethal poison to a target affected by Kingsbane damage increases by 15%. I want to be super clear. It says each time. That is insane. That means if you can apply your poisons constantly, or say in this whole burst window, you can apply your poisons, I don't know, 5 times. You have to figure out how to do math and actually add this up, because I can't do that because I've been at school all day and I can't think of what 15 times 5 is. All right, 75%. Yes, I did use a calculator. But it's 75% increased damage, meaning it's almost 200k damage over 14 seconds, which is pretty damn good. After using Kingsbane, you're going to want to immediately use Hemorrhage. Why? Well, because here come all the bleed effects that you're going to put on. So you use Hemorrhage for the 25% increase. Yes, this does affect garrote. Hemorrhage will not affect 100% of garrote, but it will affect, if you do things properly, it will affect about 95% of it. Because don't forget, we have yet to actually use our blood orb thing, our exsanguinate. So you go ahead and you throw that on the target. Next, what you're going to want to do is go ahead and throw in a W, because you will be 1 point away. Either you want to either use a W or a poison knife, one of the two, because you'll be 1 point away from actually having 5 combo points. You're going to dump those combo points into Rupture. Remember, the reason that this burst works so well is because Rupture actually has a massive burst potential, 100% increased damage. So say it does hit for that 720k. And as for this next part here, you can either do one of two things. What I think I like actually better, and I just changed my mind on this, is I think that after adding all those dots, we're up to exsanguinate right now. Use exsanguinate, blood orb. Sorry if I'm pronouncing exsanguinate terribly. It just looks weird to me. Anyway, you use that. Then what I would do is I would go ahead and I would mark for death into Envenom. What all this is going to do, by the time that you actually get that Envenom off, your target's going to have taken a ton of damage. And I mean, the chance that you even need Envenom to finish them off is low, as long as you have some of these elite talents. Now, what I will point out right now, and in the example that I'm going to show you, I'm actually going to show you the burst on a monk, on a Mistweaver monk. This is my talent tree right now. My weapons, my Kingslayers, are only at 750 item level because I do not play Assassination much. I just tried out this burst and just fell in love with it. I thought I could do some really cool stuff. But anyway, I only have one talent in here, and that is Assassin's Blade, meaning the damage increase, or the damage of mutilate is increased by 15%. Now, once you start getting these other things filled out, your damage is going to be massive. So please do make sure to keep that all in mind when I show you this next clip. And here it is. And I found that to work extremely well. You'll see the target melts very quickly, and I mean, it took a little bit of practice to do. I'm by no means, again, a pro. I only have a 750 item level, but this is just something that caught my eye, and I was like, man, this is some nasty damage. You know, this has a lot of potential. You know, Assassination Rogue might actually have the best burst in the damn game at this point. Now, where Assassination Rogue has burst, it lacks in other places. It lacks in survivability. It lacks in control by a lot. You don't have blind. All you have is sap and kick and kidney. You know, you're missing your gouge, you're missing your blinds. Just something feels off about it, and the energy regen still feels slow. probably because Mutilate costs 55 energy. But anyways, guys, that is what I think about the Assassination Rogue Burst and how you can hit something like 2.6 million damage with it, theoretically. And it is just insane. It was a lot of fun to actually go through and mess with this and kind of figure out how to make it better and just see these bleed ticks. They were insane. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, like, comment, subscribe. I put out videos daily. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Peace, folks.